Hello, one and all. It's my view of My Hero Academia, chapter 316, your turn. And, yeah, looks like Deku died this chapter. I mean, I definitely didn't see that coming, but there's obviously no way anyone could survive an explosion that massive, so I guess that's it. I mean, I definitely didn't see it coming, but everyone's gotta go sometime, and I guess it means moving forward, Bakugo's gonna be the main character of the series. Yeah, no, obviously Deku's completely fine. But I'm much less sure about the pro heroes he brought with him. I mean, All For One made pretty clear this chapter that his big plan moving forward is basically to break Deku's spirit, so it's going to be easier to steal One For All from him. And him killing a bunch of pro heroes who are only here because Deku invited them would definitely break Deku's spirit, definitely make Deku more of a lone wolf who's even less willing to accept help and tries to fight All For One, Shigaraki, and the entire League of Villains all on his own, which, oh, that would end so badly. That would end so very badly for him. I mean, the entire reason why All For One sent Lena Gaunt after Deku wasn't because he thought she could actually capture him, but because he wanted her to reveal to Deku the truth about Hero Society, the true corruption and evil just beneath the surface, even when All Might was at his prime, to reveal to Deku that All For One wasn't in fact the true source of evil, but rather trying to fix the world in his own way and trying to fix humanity itself. And it's definitely rather worrying that he says All Might no longer interests me. I mean, I feel like he's allowed All Might to live for this long simply because he enjoys watching him suffer, enjoys watching him be powerless, enjoyed watching him find out that Shigaraki is the grandson of his former master. And now that he's basically grown bored with All Might, I could definitely see him, exterminating him, eliminating him, wiping off the board just to make Deku suffer all that much more. Oh god, All Might, please be safe, please be safe. Anyway, back at the start of the chapter, we have Endeavor show up, and turns out he does not do all that well in the rain. Kind of reminds me of Roy Mustang from Fullmetal Alchemist. And then we have Hawks who, ran in to save Lady Nagant, but as it turns out, he can't actually fly, so yeah, he's not doing all that well here. I appreciate the effort, Hawks. I really do appreciate the effort, at least. Of course, then Deku comes in and helps save the day, even though he's in complete and utter agony and barely able to move. That's so Deku. And I was actually rather surprised by what Hawks said next. He referred to himself as Lena Gaunt's replacement. I mean, I always assumed that Hawks and Lena Gaunt had two separate jobs in the Safety Commission. Hawks was infiltration, while she was more assassination. But if he's her replacement, that means that Hawks has killed so very many people at the behest of the government. So interesting. That does kind of change the way I look at him. Yet despite all the darkness he's seen, he still remains hopeful, optimistic. There's still light in his eyes because, as he says, he wasn't alone. He is optimistic to a fault. Oh, I love you, Hawks. I love you, even though you're a mass murderer. I mean, mass killer? Government assassin? Something like that. And they were actually able to get some useful information out of Lady Nagant. Yay! Even though it was just information that All For One gave her so she could give to Deku to lead him into a trap, still, it's something. The timeline, though, is rather curious. Within 2 months, I was supposed to bring the target to the mansion. 2 months. I feel like that's the amount of time it's going to take for, Shigaraki to complete his transformation into the true symbol of destruction, to truly inherit All For One and become, the ultimate monster he can be. As his perfect form, his perfect body that will never break, never wear down, essentially be immortal and perfect. So that's bad. That's very bad. And what's more, she's not the only one, as All For One reached out to a whole bunch of other super dangerous prisoners in Tartarus to come chase after Deku. And, yeah, this is going to be bad. This is going to be very bad. I'm actually curious about the one guy. He kind of reminds me of Chimera from the second My Hero Academia movie. I mean, the movies are arguably not canon, but, I mean, the full gauntlets from the first movie appeared recently, so I could definitely see, villains from the second movie appearing in the manga as well, especially Chimera, because he has a whole bunch of reasons to hate Deku, and he can reveal another aspect of Hero Society's Deku. The discrimination he faced because of how he looked, because of what his quirk was. Curious about that. And I think Lady Nagant survived. I mean, that was a pretty bad explosion, but they called for an ambulance, and I think they would have straight upset if she had died, so curious about that? I mean, I would love to see her come back in the series, either in the final fight against All For One, maybe down the road, in the epilogue, once they're trying to make a new Hero Society, she'll be on the board trying to figure out how the government should work, how things should work, to make sure that people like her aren't needed ever again. Oh, and All Might's back! Yay! Yeah, it turns out even without a quirk, those two street punks were no match for him. Oh, I love you, All Might, and I love your freaking car. Seriously, this thing took multiple explosions, and it is still drivable. Besides the windshield, the rest of it doesn't even look like it has a scratch on it. Oh, I love it. I freaking love it. And then Endeavor brings Overhaul, and Oh, the look on Deku's face as he's looking at him, as he's looking at this dangerous, dangerous villain who did so much damage, someone he cared so much about, just ranting and screaming like a lunatic in the rain, and he keeps saying, I need to apologize to the boss, I need to tell him I'm sorry. And then Deku's like, well, what about Eri? Don't you need to tell her you're sorry? He's like, Eri? Oh yeah, with her I could. Oh god. Thank God he not finished that sentence, or Deku might have actually punched him. With Eri, I could have taken over the world. With Eri, I could have made it up to the boss. He only viewed her as a weapon, a tool. And Deku tells him he needs to make it up to her. He needs to apologize to her. And if he does that, he will bring him to the boss. He will let him see the boss one last time. And oh, Eri meeting Overhaul again. I mean, I have a lot of conflicted emotions about that. For one thing, I really, truly want to see it. I mean, I've been saying since the prison break that at some point Eri would end up healing Overhaul's arms so he could help in the big final fight against Shigaraki and All For One. But just their initial interaction, that's gonna be really interesting. I mean, just seeing her abuse her again after so long, after she's finally started to heal, could cause some major psychological damage to Eri. But at the same time, seeing him as he is now, seeing him as this broken, defeated man, realizing that he is not the boogeyman, that he's not going to attack her from some dark shadow at any time in the future, could really help her heal and realize that, she doesn't have anything to be afraid of anymore. I would so love to see that. And that would eventually, lead to her down the road realizing that she needs to heal Overhaul's arms so he could go help save Deku, help save the day, help save the world, more or less, as a way of him, making amends to both her and the boss. Oh, I can't wait to see that. I can't freaking wait to see that. But anyway, seeing all this just made Deku really angry, so he decided to march straight to All For One's mansion and do a full frontal assault without any scouting whatsoever, because that was a smart idea, Deku. That was a really smart idea. Bad Deku. Bad Deku. And obviously it was a trap, and obviously they were all caught up in the explosion. Like I said, Deku's probably fine, but I could definitely see some of these pro heroes being seriously wounded or maybe even killed in this explosion, and that's just encouraging Deku to become even more of a lone wolf, to try and save the entire world all by himself without any backup until his classmates eventually catch up to him and beat the living daylights out of him, telling him to stop trying to be a hero. Well, stop trying to be a solo hero at the very least, and learn to lean on his friends, his allies, his supporters. I'm not sure, but let me think else down below. What happened in the explosion? Who survived? Who was killed? Who was wounded? And what's All For One's next big step? I mean, he sent a lot of assassins out of Deku, like half a dozen, so this is definitely going to be a fairly long arc as Deku, deals with assassin after assassin. Hopefully he eventually realizes he needs his classmates to help back him up, or he will die very quickly. But yeah, link the links down below. Be sure to like, subscribe to the next video, and until then, peace!